Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. Truth, when it is united to love, it desires to be known because the truth sets you free. The truth brings into what is truly beautiful and what is peace and what is harmonious and what brings joy and happiness and contentment into your life. And so when you have truth, which is all the ways of how to do that, combined with love, which desires to love your soul, it wants to be made known. I've been talking about how that seed of truth and love, those who are willing to sell all have discovered that within themselves. And when you walk in the journey of discovering what truth is, with discovering what the purest love is, you go through this inner recreation of your mind, of your soul, thus your heart, because that truth brings understanding that fuels that love. And the love desires to have more understanding because it brings more love. So as you're going through this dynamic, you're just going deeper and deeper, and you're following and you're walking into it. And that is walking into the very presence of God. Now, a lot of times, people, they experience the presence of God, but they're really not sure why. God is truth and God is love. He is, and in those things contains His holiness, His righteousness, His purity, His mercy, His compassion, His justice, all these elements. And when we get new insights, new revelation of pure truth, it's a revelation to our soul. It's a deep understanding. You experience that strong sense of God. There's nothing more exhilarating. Well, it's except feeling His love. But that's what those insights, when you learn them, that's what it leads to. So you do experience His love. So there is nothing more amazing. And so when you are experiencing that, you are experiencing God because He is love. He is truth. So if you want to experience His presence, walk in His truth, walk in His love, give His love, receive His love. Follow what He's telling you to do, because when you walk with that, you are walking with Him in unison and harmony with Him. When you're going against those things, doing the things that are contrary to love, going to do the things contrary to truth, then you're going to experience a distance. You're not going to experience that presence. So sometimes you feel this close connection with God, but then you feel separate. And you're like, well, why do I feel separate? Well, that's to show you that you still have truths, you still have ways of acting that aren't in love and that aren't in truth. And you need to have Him examine those and move those out of your life and let the truth move in. So this is a process that we're going through right now. And this is what it means for the Christ to return. Because Christ raises us from the dead, from these dead tombs of earth. We're in the earth, we're in the dust. It's like it's in the grave. This is where our soul is. Because it's like a womb is preparing us. This death phase has been to teach us. It's not the end, because death will be destroyed. Death has only been allowed for a certain time in all eternity to teach us. It's almost like being in a dream. It's like a dream state. That's why it also says that sleep is like death. And actually, I'll reference that in the verse that I'm going to read. So there's this awakening that's happening, is coming out of death, which is blindness and darkness in our own way and all those things. So you're awakening, you're coming out, you're coming into the light. You're being born because you came into life through death, so that you may understand what death is, so that you will always desire to move into life. It's a lesson that we've all had to learn to be eternal creations that willingly submit to a sovereign, supreme spirit, the Heavenly Father. We love desires to love. For love that you give to your Father flows through obedience. So you have to know Him, know His truth, obey Him, and walk in that, and that's how that love flows to Him. And so if you want to be in a relationship of love with Him, this walking in obedience, you have to come to a point where it is your will, that His will consumes you. And if you have come to that point of desire, then you are worthy of marriage to His Son. That spirit that He sent of Him to unite to our spirit. And the analogy is like a marriage union, two becoming one. But it's that pure divine spirit, the part of Him, His Son, that comes in and unifies to us. And when we do that, we're connected to Him. We're part of the family. We gain His inheritance. We're a child of God. We're a son of God. We're the bride of Christ. We're connected within our spirit because we have our desire, like a bride, has come to be only for Him. And that means you want the purest of truth and the purest of love, and you're willing to sell all, give up all, turn away from all that isn't of that. That is a heart that is worthy of the Son, of being united to the divine. It requires that humility and that submission, because you realize that you can never love on your own. And without love, you are nothing. You give nothing. You only give when you love. It is the most incredible and amazing place to abide in a state of love. And that is what God is creating us to be, is creations that, although finite in our understanding, will be able to contain the divine love. Because love, and that's our problem without God, is that if you are not all-knowing, you don't know what the most loving thing is to do in any one situation, because you don't know the ripple effect of that action. So you have to have that all-knowingness. Well, we don't have that because we're not God. We're children of God. We don't have that. But what He gives us is His divine love. So that although we don't have complete understanding, we can actually love others perfectly. That's what He's taking us to. And how is because we trust in His will, that He will govern us. Because that's what you're doing when you're coming into that marriage union. You're giving Him that kingship, that rulership, that lordship in your life, to where He is in you governing everything. Your will is being completely driven by His will. And I will dive into a little bit more in the next video. Till next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.